Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thank you so much for tuning in. St. Patrick's Day is just a few days away, so I hope that if you're celebrating it, you have purchased plenty of green produce. There's lots of green vegetables and fruits available. There's broccoli, cabbage, spinach, kale, lettuce, grapes, green apples, just to name a few. Now, here's a little known fact, a little off topic, but little known fact. In the United States, St. Patrick's Day is the single busiest week for selling green cabbage. There's actually a shortage of green cabbage in the week in St. Patrick's Day. They use so much in the United States for St. Patrick's Day celebrations. Or if you don't want to use one of those vegetables, you can cook up some Manitoba-grown red potatoes, mash them, and add a drop or two of green food coloring. Or you can make a baked potato from Peak of the Market's 5-pound Sesame Street bag that has Grover on it. He's green, so that would be like a St. Patrick's thing as well. However you wish to celebrate, happy St. Patrick's Day this week. Now, speaking of celebrating, Shelley and I have been very fortunate to meet many wonderful Manitobans over the years. However, we would love to meet some more. So we've decided to ask you out for dinner. Yes, dinner. We'd like to invite a lucky listener and their guest to join us for dinner. It would be nice to get to know a few of our listeners a little bit better. The restaurant we've chosen for this week's contest is Blaze Restaurant and Lounge in the Delta, Winnipeg. So if you would like to enter your name into a draw to join Shelley and myself for dinner at Blaze Restaurant and Lounge, please email me at larrymacintosh@peakmarket.com by noon today. So Macintosh is MC, and it's Peak Market. Some people use Peak of the Market, but it's actually peakmarket.com. So larrymacintosh@peakmarket.com by noon today. And in the subject line, put Manitoba. And feel free to put any in your email any comments or suggestions you have about Food and Friends. It's always great to hear our listeners' feedback. If you are the lucky winner, which we'll notify you later this weekend, we'll sort out the details of the time and date that'll work for everybody. Again, if you'd like to enter your name into a draw to join Shelley and myself at dinner at Blaze Bistro Restaurant and Lounge, please email me at larrymacintosh@peakmarket.com by noon today, and in the subject line put Manitoba. My guest this morning is Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for ThirdQuarter. Good morning, Iris.
Morning, Larry.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Very well. I saw you on the phone there while I was doing that. Are you entering the contest? Is that what you were doing there?
I sure hope I can enter.
Of course you can.
Awesome.
Would you like to go to dinner with Shelley and I? You've been to many dinners with Shelley and I already.
I have from my previous life, yes, so it'd be nice to do it again.
So tell us a little bit about ThirdQuarter. If people haven't heard of it, it's been around a few years, but what is it exactly?
Well, ThirdQuarter started about 4 years ago as an initiative of the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce, and we are an online recruitment service for people who are 45 years of age and over. So we partner with companies who are looking to hire experience.
So this is, and I think about this when I was reading a little bit about the organization. We had Chuck Davidson on a few weeks ago, and I was involved with the Manitoba Chamber, still am, in a big way. So I know about ThirdQuarter. But most of us are fortunate enough we have health that we can work to later years, may not want to work at the same pace, but looking for something a little more laid back. So is this where this comes in?
A bit of it, yes. I mean, retirement is looking different for different people, and
Right.
some people who have started their careers earlier are finishing their careers at 45 or even 55, not the traditional 65. So really, this is a group of people who still has a lot left to give back, who can still contribute to either their current employer or to other employers who are looking to expand their knowledge base.
So you're looking at working with employers as well as people that are looking for employment?
Exactly. We work with both sides of the job equation. We work with good candidates who have good skills, who are looking for good companies, and we work with good companies who are looking for candidates with good skills.
So where did this idea come from?
In response to the growing skills gap that Manitoba businesses and really Canadian businesses are experiencing in the workplace, with boomers who are retiring, they're taking that knowledge and that skills base with them, but there's still jobs that need to be done.
So I turned 55 a few weeks ago, and I'm not looking for a job, and I'm thankful that I enjoy what I'm doing, and I hope to do it for many, many more years to come. But when we're looking for staff to join our family, quite often we're looking for, lack of better words, older workers versus someone right out of school because they have experience and they appreciate, and there's a work ethic sometimes, and there's all sorts of positives to that.
Exactly. They come with many skills and abilities. The mentorship that they can give to younger employees as well is a great boost, and they also provide that been there, know how to do it aspect of the role.
So are you quite busy?
Very busy, yes. We're quite involved in the community, attending various events and helping candidates match up with good companies.
Are you finding it's important to get the word out there? Is that a big part of your job, is letting people know the organization's there, or is it already well known?
It's always a good idea to keep our presence out there in the community and making people aware of our services, because maybe it's for you, or maybe it's someone you know, or maybe you're an employer that's looking to hire. That's where we can come into play.
So one of our listeners is interested in somehow is looking for employment, is over 45. How would they start?
Well, the best place would be to go to our website, and that's www.thirdquarter.ca. And they can go and they can browse the jobs that we have available. But if they're looking to register, they can sign up, and all they need is access to a computer and an email address. If they don't have access to a computer, libraries have them available for free of charge.
And there are people that don't have access to a computer, although I take it for granted because we have so many computers at work, and we take our computer home with us. But there is the libraries and other areas that you can go to get that information as well. So there's actually job listings on there?
There is, yes. And so what happens once you click into to register, you would create a profile, you would upload your resume, and you would also do a short skills questionnaire. So that helps us in the matching process, because the skills that you indicate that you have help us when we have positions that are looking for those skills that you have. And so then your profile would be flagged for our recruiters, who would then contact you to say we have a potential with this position.
So that's all at what website again? Sorry?
www.thirdquarter.ca.
ThirdQuarter.ca. And we'll come back, and I want to talk a little bit about the name and about how people get involved if they want to get it from employer side after we take this break. We'll be right back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for Third Quarter, after we take this break for your weather update. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. Food and Friends Radio is on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on MyToba.ca later today. So if you want to see the TV version of this or previous radio shows, please visit MyToba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole, who produces our show, and Riley, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at TechVoc High School. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at soundcloud.com or at the iTunes Store. So please just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at MyToba.ca or soundcloud.com or at the iTunes Store, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. Now, it's very important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please tune in here every Saturday morning at 8 or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for Third Quarter. Now, Iris, while we're in the break listening to the weather, I got a text saying that I said Grover was green, and he's not.
He is not.
He's not. I meant to say Oscar. So Oscar is on that bag. It's not even Grover on the bag I was talking about. It's Oscar who's green. So thank you to the listener that pointed that out.
They're awake this early in the morning.
I'll tell you, really. I was clearly not when I made that note. So we're talking about, if you're interested in finding out about jobs or submitting a resume before the break, we're talking about that. Go to the website, thirdquarter.ca. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So people would go there and they could submit their resume. Is that what you were saying?
Right. They can upload their resume once they've created their profile. They'll do a short skills questionnaire, and then their application will actually we'll receive notification in our office. The information that we receive is 100% confidential.
Okay.
Employers cannot see your information or your profile, and other candidates can't see your information or profile. So once we do have a match for a position, our recruitment advisors will contact the candidate to say we have a potential with this company. Are they interested in having the resume go forward? It's only at that time when they say yes that the resume will be forwarded to the company.
Okay. So if you're currently employed and you're worried about your resume getting in the wrong hands, so to speak, you don't have to worry about that because that's all confidential.
Exactly.
So from an employer point of view, if you're looking for someone that's in third quarter, which would be 45 or over, as we were saying, what would they do?
So again, they could contact Third Quarter through the website, or they can send an email to thirdquarter.ca, and or they can call our toll-free line 1-855-286-0306, and they can speak to someone in our business development office.
And I assume the phone number's on the website, so you can get it either way.
Exactly.
So I'm an employer. I'm looking for someone, and you mentioned earlier there is, they call it a skills gap, a lack of certain people, certain occupations in our province, and it's a great problem to have because it means we have low unemployment and lots of people got jobs. So that's fantastic. So they can go to this website, or they can contact you and find about older employees. I don't like the older part, but I'm employees 45 years or older.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why our company is called ThirdQuarter. We're trying to change some of the stereotypes associated with hiring someone of a certain age. So, and anybody in that demographic prefers to be called mature, seasoned, boomers, Zoomers, all those good positive names.
And I think ThirdQuarter is a fantastic name. And I was thinking about it when it was first announced, ThirdQuarter. I'm thinking, okay, it's later in your career. Well, I wouldn't want it to be fourth quarter because that sounds like it's over, right? And
That's
it's
right.
not really at that point.
No, at this stage, we still have so much more to give back to our companies and ourselves, really, in the communities.
How long have you been involved in the organization?
About a year and a half now.
And do you find that interesting?
You know what? I find it very interesting. I love getting to meet our candidates when we go to trade shows, just to hear their stories, because in one way, we all have a ThirdQuarter story to tell, and that's one thing that sets ThirdQuarter apart is the empathy that our recruitment advisors and our whole team really has, because we've either transitioned from another career, some of us have been downsized or right-sized. So we understand what the candidates are feeling when they're having to look for work, and maybe some of them haven't had to fill out a resume in 25 years. We can help them with that. We can coach them through some of those tough spells.
And that is tough. I mean, I've been at Peak of the Market 21 years. Before that, I had to do a resume as of my previous company for 18 years. So it's not something I do all the time, and suddenly you're faced with that. It's daunting.
It is. Could be quite intimidating. So that's, they can come when they call our toll-free line at 1-855-286-0306. There's a recruitment advisor on the other end of the line who can talk to them and guide them through some of the resume points.
Is this organization just in Manitoba, or?
Our head office is in Winnipeg, but we are national, so we can help candidates coast to coast.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So did it start national, or?
It started local right in Winnipeg.
So someone came up with this idea, and now it's coast to coast, so to speak?
Exactly, and we do have candidates from Vancouver to Nova Scotia, and we also have companies who we work with who are national companies.
How long has the organization been around?
Just over 4 years.
So when they decided to start the organization, they just obviously felt there was an opportunity or a niche out there that wasn't being serviced by other companies, or?
Exactly. Just in terms of with the onset of the boomers retiring, that the realization that we're going to have these gaps in the workplace that we need to fill, how are we going to fill them? And this is a result of that initiative.
And we're going to come back in the next segment. We're doing our recipe, our weekly recipes. So you could take a bit of a break. But in the next half hour, we're going to come back and talk a little bit about you, because I know you've been a couple interesting jobs over the years. Are you from Manitoba originally?
Yes, born and raised in Winnipeg.
Born and raised in Winnipeg. So that's a hint of what we're going to talk about in the next hour. But you've had some fascinating jobs. So we're going to take a break for our recipe update. We'll be right back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for ThirdQuarter, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I'm Larry McIntosh, and it's time for our recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. You don't need to write this recipe down, as is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Free Press. So if you like the recipe, just check out our website at peakmarket.com or today's Winnipeg Free Press. Today's recipe is basil marinated tomatoes. Basil marinated tomatoes. This recipe sounds very simple to make and looks good, so let's have a look at what's in it. There's sliced tomatoes, chopped fresh parsley. I tell you, I'm stumbling here today. Olive oil, white and red wine vinaigrette, chopped fresh basil, granulated sugar, and salt and pepper. So that's not too many ingredients. Now, if you're having a St. Patrick's Day celebration, there's green in the parsley and the basil. So there you go. If you're interested in viewing the full recipe, it is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. You can also have recipes at your fingertips. Peak of the Market's free recipes app has over 4,000 recipes and is available for your smartphone or iPad. It's available for the BlackBerry, the Android, or the iPhones or the iPad, as I said. And there's great features on this Peak Recipes app, but it's absolutely free. Several search options, including keywords like potatoes and chicken. You can rate recipes and add them to your favorite list. You can add ingredients to a shopping list, which is always handy. You have everything right there. Add notes to the recipes like Larry's favorite, or add more vegetables next time. The Peak Recipes app is available free at all the app stores. We'll be right back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for Third Quarter, after we take this break for your news, sports, and weather. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. Peak of the Market is on Twitter. Follow us at Peak of the Market for recipes and Food and Friends guest updates. We have over 170,000 Twitter followers, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or you can follow me at Larry McIntosh. As I mentioned in the first half hour of the show, we'd like to invite a lucky listener and their guest to join us for dinner. The restaurant we've chosen for this week's contest is Blaze Restaurant and Lounge in the Delta, Winnipeg. If you'd like to enter your name into a draw to join Shelley and I for dinner at Blaze Restaurant and Lounge, please email me at larrymacintosh@peakmarket.com by noon today. McIntosh is MC, and it's peakmarket.com, not peakofthemarket.com. So if you want to get your email through there. In the subject line, just put Manitoba. And as always, please feel free to put any in your email any comments, suggestions, guest suggestions you have, and we look at that for Food and Friends. It's always great to hear feedback from our listeners. If you're the lucky winner, we'll let you know later this weekend, and we'll sort out the details on the date and time, etc. to meet. Again, if you'd like to enter your name into a draw to join Shelley and I for a dinner at Blaze Restaurant and Lounge in the Delta, please email me at larrymacintosh@peakmarket.com by noon today. And in the subject line, just put Manitoba. Good luck to everybody. We're back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for Third Quarter. In the last half hour, we were talking about you. Well, we're just starting to talk about it. You're from Winnipeg originally?
Yes, Larry, born and raised in Winnipeg.
Went to school here?
I did. I went to Garden City Collegiate, and I have a commerce degree from the University of Manitoba.
Wow. So, and have you always lived in Manitoba?
I took a 3-month internship at the Canadian Embassy in D.C. In the early 90s, just when Clinton was being elected for the first time. So that was a pretty exciting time to be in D.C.
So you just throw that out like you've been here all your life, except for you're at the Canadian Embassy in Washington.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your experience there. It was 3 months on an interim, you were saying?
It was a tremendous experience to be part of the Canadian Embassy and to see what an embassy does. Never had that experience before. And there were other interns there from across Canada. And it was just fabulous to see how things are in a capital city.
And Shelley and I got to visit the Canadian Embassy with Ambassador Dewar he's still there, but and he was there, and we got to see around before they had a reception that night. We just stayed for a bit. It's an amazing facility, a great location, and it kind of makes you proud to see those Canadian flags flying.
Exactly. I believe it's the closest embassy to the U.S. Capitol as well.
I think you're right.
Yep.
And you were there during President Clinton?
Right, the first year that he was elected.
Did you ever meet him?
No.
I did.
Oh.
I met him when he was in Winnipeg for 5 or 10 seconds or whatever it was. But yeah, I met him. Interesting guy.
Oh, well, his speeches were fantastic.
A great public speaker. So so you worked there. Where else have you worked in your career?
Well, how we met was when I was working at the Winnipeg Sun. I had the Out and About column, and that was just a fabulous way to meet so many incredible, Winnipeggers and Manitobans. It truly emphasized and highlighted what a great city we have and what a great province we live in, and just the way people come together for all these fantastic events and causes.
We were saying before the show started this morning that you used to take our picture, Shelley and I, when we were out and about at these events, and I was always so shy I didn't want to have my picture taken. That's a little sarcasm. If anybody knows me,
You've come a long way.
I get in front of cameras pretty quick. But that was a neat feature that you did there. And then you went on you worked for the university at one point, didn't you?
Yes, I worked for the Alumni Association through the University of Manitoba, and I helped organize their homecoming celebrations and reunions and special events as well. So again, just highlighting some great graduates from the University of Manitoba and just seeing what we have to offer, really.
And I also recall you were involved in the celebration of Manitoba's birthday, wasn't it?
Yes, that's good memory, Larry. That was Manitoba 125.
125, right.
Yeah.
And what did you do there?
There we helped organize the celebrations. We went on a royal ascenter with the Lieutenant Governor at the time, Yvon Dumont, and that was just a great opportunity to experience Manitoba outside of Winnipeg and what the other communities had to offer and the way they celebrated the 125th.
Now, I want to mention that Manitoba Day is May 12th.
Correct.
And a lot of Manitobans don't know that, and it's because it's not a holiday. It doesn't need to be a holiday, but I'll be talking about that as the months go by because I'm a big celebrator of Manitoba. Manitoba Day has always been important to me, and I believe we're going to be 145 this year, if I'm correct. Does that sound about right? Yeah, something
Yes,
like that.
because 1870 was when we entered into Confederation.
See, if you quizzed me on that kind of, I just knew Manitoba Day was May 12th, and I was impressed with that. But 145 years coming up, so we'll be talking more about that as the shows get closer. But want to be certainly celebrating our great province. So you've been in various jobs. What is your favorite thing you do in any of your jobs?
My most favorite is when I get to meet the people that I'm working for. So whether it's the readers from the Winnipeg Sun or the candidates from ThirdQuarter, or it was the alumni from the University of Manitoba, I really like that human connection. I like to be able to put a face to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. It helps to make it more personal.
And what's your least favorite thing?
I don't know if I really have a least
Oh, you
favorite.
have to have. Everybody has a least favorite. For me, it's paperwork. I'm not a big paperwork person, but is there something about your jobs that you didn't really?
Oh, well, maybe the reports.
See, reports. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, have you met some famous people over the years in all these jobs?
Oh, well, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met Larry McIntosh.
Oh, come on now. Any names you can drop?
I remember meeting Mila Mulrooney
Oh, yeah.
when she was in town for a fundraiser for cystic fibrosis. John Turner was in town.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And
It- It's kind of neat. Now, obviously, meeting people is interesting. It doesn't have to be famous people, but I like to ask that question once in a while because you're in a position where you could have met some interesting people over the years.
oh, and I did. And I mean, it was just what people were doing, and I felt very insignificant with my achievements in comparison to what other people have done. But it was great to hear their stories, and that's really the best part, is listening to people's stories and what they've done and accomplished.
And we all accomplish something, right?
Exactly.
Everybody accomplishes something. So, we're not the premier or the prime minister or whatever, but we all accomplish something. You're accomplishing a lot with the ThirdQuarter. I sell vegetables, right? Everybody has a role and a passion.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to help people match at ThirdQuarter, is helping people find their passion in their next and their third or their encore career.
Encore career.
Mm-hmm.
I like that phrase. We'll be right back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for ThirdQuarter, after we take this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am Larry McIntosh. I hope you've had an opportunity to see our bright and colorful potato and onion bags at your store. Peak of the Market's new Sesame Street potato and onion bags feature Elmo, Bert, Grover, Oscar, Abby-Kadabi, Rosetta, Cookie Monster, Big Bird, and Ernie, 9 different Sesame Street characters in all. Along with the characters, you'll still see the Peak of the Market logo, so you're guaranteed they are grown right here in Manitoba. We're very pleased to partner with Sesame Street on the Eat Biter program. The Sesame Street Eat Biter program is all about encouraging children and adults to eat more fruits and vegetables. If you haven't seen your favorite Sesame Street character on a potato or onion bag at your local store, please ask the produce manager, where are they hiding? We're back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for ThirdQuarter. So, did you know this is show number 232?
I had no idea.
See, Chuck Davison, as I was mentioning, was on the show a couple of weeks ago from the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce, and I said, the show's been on for 3 years, so we went back and did the math. It's like over 4 years. I can't believe it.
That's incredible, Larry. Congratulations.
Well, I wasn't looking for congratulations, but I was surprised by that.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Anyway, I was just correcting something else I said from the other day. So we're talking about candidates. So if when they're looking for a job, they can go look at postings, send your resume, as you said earlier in the show, to ThirdQuarter.ca. Is this just full-time jobs or part-time jobs or?
It runs the gamut, Larry. Our postings are full-time, part-time, term, contract. Some are even volunteer positions. So when candidates go onto their site, what they're really going to see is dependent upon what the companies are looking for at the time. So we try to have a variety of positions available to suit the various needs of the candidates who are looking for employment.
So if a candidate's looking for a job, wants to send a resume in, and we talked about that a little bit earlier, and it's all on the website, but how much does it cost the candidate to use the service?
Our services are 100% free for candidates. We do not charge them a fee whatsoever.
Oh, okay. So obviously someone's paying for this. The employers are paying for it?
Right. We do charge the companies a fee for their postings.
So if you're an employer in Manitoba, well, actually across Canada, because you were saying earlier you're across Canada, headquartered in Vancouver? No, in Winnipeg. We're in Winnipeg, right? They can go on to get their postings on there and look for people across Canada.
Exactly. So what they can do is they could email us at info@thirdquarter.ca, or companies or candidates could call our toll-free line at 1-855-286-0306 and ask to speak to someone in our recruitment or business development areas.
So if someone out there is looking for employment, looking to change jobs or know somebody,
Mhm.
they can go to the website, get all the information there. Or as an employer, same thing, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Now, you were saying off air, this is a non-profit organization?
Yes, we're a nonprofit organization, and we have an amazing board of directors that we work with that is really across Canada.
And the directors are across Canada as well, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're looking for a job, you can go to the ThirdQuarter.ca. So let's get back to you. You were back at the Winnipeg Sun for many years, out taking photos at charity events, various events out there. Do you miss that?
You know what what I miss most is the connections that I had with people who I would see at events. And so what's nice about my role again at Third Quarter is that I'm able to go back out into the community and reconnect with some of the people who I used to see on a regular basis. So it's nice when you go to the chamber breakfasts or events and you get to see people from past lives. To me, that's great.
And do you find that people have changed jobs a lot from when you've seen them before? Are you finding a lot of people moving around? Or I know that's a general statement, but...
You know what? For some are switching careers and moving on to other positions in other companies or other provinces, and some are moved on from to promotions within the companies that I knew them with before. So it's kind of nice to have that little mix of both.
And Bill Morrissey, a friend of ours for Food and Friends, is Yes Winnipeg. He works for. He's been on the show a couple times. He's announced he's retiring, I think, in July from Yes Winnipeg, and that surprised me. But when I was talking to him, he visited Peak not too long ago to look at our new expansion area. He was saying that he's looking for. He's still going to be working, but he doesn't want to work at the same pace. He's looking to scale back a little bit, enjoy some time with his family.
You know, and that's true of many of our candidates as well, who are still vital and have lots to give back and want to contribute. They're just looking to change how they work. So maybe they don't want to work as long, or they maybe want to try a different industry or a different career, or go back to something that they did earlier in the career. There's many options available to Third Quarter candidates.
And we were talking earlier about putting resumes together, and I find that challenging. I read a lot of resumes, although I don't do as much hiring as I used to. It's more the people I work with. But when you read a resume, you have to kind of brag about yourself, right? And you have to talk about your skills. And I find that hard to do. Do you help people with that?
We do. Our recruitment advisors are fantastic. They will talk through the resume with the candidate, and they will offer suggestions and ways that they can improve the resume. Because with a lot of companies these days, they have an applicant tracking system where they would submit their resumes to. And so that applicant tracking system is looking for keywords. So, and you know, that's one way of job searching, but we're trying to put the human back in human resources. And so we really believe in that human touch, that connection with the candidate, remembering that they are just like you and me, and that we try to treat our candidates with respect.
And I think the resume is your first contact. I mean, if you get a pile of resumes, you know, if we run an ad, which we don't do very often because we're fortunate that we don't lose many people, mostly through retirements, you get 300 resumes, and that's kind of your first touch point of looking at it, right? I mean, that's an important piece of paper.
Exactly, and that's some way that Third Quarter can help the companies as well, because we can take those resumes and we can go through them and we can find the best candidates, so we can save the companies some valuable time as well by shortlisting suitable candidates for them.
And I'll make a general statement here. I've hired probably thousands of people over my career. I used to be in a retail store and now at Peak of the Market. So I've hired lots of people, and some of the best people that I've hired over the years have had the worst resumes, right? So you need that help sometimes to look at things, I don't know if it's objectively or whatever the word is, to help you put your skills on paper. It's somewhat bragging, but you got to do that.
Well, and it can be a little daunting, especially if you haven't had to create a resume in 20 or 25 years, and resumes have changed and the formatting has changed and what employers are looking for has changed. So it's nice to where you can go to someone who can help you through and navigate that resume world.
Again, it's thirdquarter.ca. You can get all the information as an employer, or if you want to be put your application in, because that's the proper word, candidate. Is that what it is? Candidate?
We call them candidates.
Candidates. Okay, there you go. We'll right back with Iris Chrol, Director of Communications for Third Quarter, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. My guest next Saturday, March 21st, I can't believe it's March 21st already, at 8 a.m. is Michael Gupton from KMG Gold. Michael will tell us all about how we can sell our unwanted gold, silver, or platinum. I get excited when I talk about gold, silver, platinum. Shelley and I met Michael at a Chorus radio reception, actually, and we spoke for about an hour about gold recycling, and I found it absolutely fascinating. So I'm hoping that you'll find it interesting as well. So tune in next Saturday at 8 a.m. for Michael from KMG Gold. My guest today has been Iris Chrol, Communications Manager for ThirdQuarter. So this has been fun.
It's been great, Larry.
So ThirdQuarter, one information, the website once again?
Our website is www.thirdquarter.ca, or they can call our toll-free line at 1-855-286-0306, or they can send us an email at info@thirdquarter.ca.
And if you didn't get all that information, I'm sure it's all on the website. So, and if you have to be 45 years or older to use this service, right?
Well, you know what? If you were under 45, that would be okay, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you had to be like 45 or over.
No, well, 45 is a place to start.
Well, thank you very much for being on Food and Friends.
Oh, it's been great being here this morning, Larry. Thank you.
Thanks to Nicole Bonnycamp, our show's producer, and Riley Rivard, our camera guy. Take care, everybody, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.